Hey, everybody. I literally just chose that music like 10 minutes ago. I'm not sure. It's a little boppy, but I think we may need another song. What do you think?
I'm okay with it if we don't change it, but there could be something better out there, so I'm open to it.
We'll see. I was looking for something happy.
You don't like it, you don't like it.
Well, I think
I was
they take me a while to get used to it. I didn't like the new one on my show either. Hey, everybody.
Okay.
Welcome to
Hello.
Tomato Talk Live. I'm Lauren.
I am Jen.
And we come to you on the first Friday normally of the month, and we talk tomatoes. And we've been doing this for, has it been almost 2 years now?
Yeah, I believe so. I think you had me, it was in July, on your attitude of gratitude show.
Yeah.
And I think that was in July. So, and then the next month, I think you asked me to do like something like this, and then we just kept doing it.
I know our first month, we didn't even have TLC yet. We were still in
No, we didn't. It was like right before that, right?
And that's been almost 2 years. So yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Thank you all for being here. We like doing the show live so we can interact with all of you. And tonight we're going to be talking about tomato troubleshooting. I put something in the group, and if you're not aware of our group, let me show you what it is. Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap. Pretty much the damn best group on Facebook, I'd have to say.
The best.
Undeniably. It's just a group of fun, no drama, and being enthusiastic about tomatoes. We're really glad you're all here. We try to get as many comments on the screen as possible. But I started saying we put in the group a little while ago, we put out some questions. What do you want to talk about as far as troubleshooting tonight? And we did get some good answers that we'll have to see if I can answer any of them.
Yeah. I've got it brought up here on my phone.
Oh, perfect.
So I can go through them whenever you'd like.
Yeah, that would be good. Sherman was first. 2 hours ago. Way to go, Sherman. Happy Friday. He likes to be the first commenter. Yeah, last month, our May show, we were together, and Sherman was there with us in Carlisle, Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
We were in person. It was great.
Yeah. It was really, really wonderful meeting people and being face-to-face with them.
It was.
Yeah.
Jen and I were just talking. We're doing another one in September due to overwhelming popularity of our date last month. Friday, September 26th. We're doing, this time it'll be a tomato tasting and seed swap. So we can bring tomatoes that we grow if they're still in season, if you can. But some of you may be traveling far, so just bring yourself if you can't bring any tomatoes. And then hoping that we have seeds. So if you really like a tomato that somebody grew, hopefully you can bring seeds home for that with you. But it's just a chance again to meet. And we wanted to give a lot of notice this time. So we gave a lot of notice for last month too, but we're giving even more notice now so people can travel. But we had, what did we have, like 20, 25 people there last month? Something like that.
Yeah. Something like that. It was more than I thought that would ever travel to see me.
And now we're not together again. I'm looking at you in your kitchen, and I'm down here in my basement.
I know. But at least, I just love being face to face with you. Or I guess on the screen, I'm beside you.
It was so much fun. So we hope that you guys can join us in the future. We're going to, I think, do it once in the spring and once in the fall. So keep September 26th, mark that on your calendars if you're able. And some of you have reached out to Jen and I about starting your own, because not everybody can travel to Carlisle, Pennsylvania. So I know somebody from Canada was thinking of one, somebody from Mississippi. So if you would like some ideas and help as to how to organize one, it's really super easy. Jen and I, last year, we did it for the first time. We looked where we are on a map. I think there was like a website that said, what's our centrally located spot? And it was Carlisle, Pennsylvania. I went to the Parks and Rec department and found a park that had a pavilion we could rent. It was that easy. And
It was great. 'Cause at first we were thinking about doing it in a hotel room.
that's right,
And
we were.
and then and then you decided to see about parks, and I was just like, "Oh, yeah, that'd be," and so it worked out great because who would wanna come and meet us in a hotel room? That's a little weird.
Yeah. Yeah, not
It was
good.
meant to be. It was
It
meant to
was
be
meant
how
to
we
be.
found the park and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was really great. So thanks to all of you who joined us, and we hope we get to see some of you again in September. Let's see who else is here. Mary's here. Hey, Mary. Thanks for joining us. Please feel free, if it's your first time watching, or if, it's your first time watching this show, Tomato Talk Live, we do really welcome comments. Doesn't have to be any questions. If you just want to say hi, tell us where you're from. We would really love to talk to you. Oh, we have a prize tonight. John Kramer, who tends to sponsor our shows every month because he's so generous, he's giving away $25 gift card to Tomato Eden. So all you have to do to win is type in the comments #tomato. Do I have it down here? #tomato. There we go. Type tomato to win. And then we'll do the drawing at the end of the episode.
yeah.
Also,
Thank you, John.
yes, thank you very much, John. Make sure you follow Jen on Instagram. She's at JenJoy383. And mine is at Mr. and Mrs. Tomato Head. I put reviews up on my channel. And if you could please subscribe to both Jen and my YouTube channel. You're watching on one of ours, I'm sure, although we do have viewers on Instagram. If you're watching on Instagram, we can't see your comments, and I don't want to say you're not eligible to win, but our platform here doesn't pick up your comments, so your name wouldn't be able to be drawn. So if you do want to be a part of the conversation and want to be eligible to win, you can go over to my YouTube channel, which is Mr. and Mrs. Tomato Head, or Jen's, which is Jen Joy. Jen's is really easy. And please subscribe. What, Jen?
I did like a garden tour the other day, and I was talking about Lauren. I was like Lauren gave me these. Lauren gave me, and someone in the comments was just like, "Okay, who is Lauren?" And I just talked to people like everybody already knows who you are. Because I just assume. I'm like, oh, so I
do
told
the
him, I was like,
same.
oh, Mr. and Mrs. Tomato, got to go check her out. She's awesome.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do the same with you. I always assume
Yeah,
people know both of us, but that's not necessarily the case. So
no, I assume my problem is I assume everybody already knows everything that I know, which isn't a lot, but I feel like everybody already knows it. And I just talk to people. I'm just like, oh, and then just like getting lost and stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. You don't know everything I know.
That's funny you say that, because I'm kind of the opposite. There was something that happened recently where somebody said something to me, and it was something I said a long time ago. I don't remember what it was. But I'm like, wow, they really listened to me. I always assume that I have to repeat everything because nobody's really listening to me. Yeah, it was just recently. I don't remember what it was, but and this is recorded too. So for those of you unable to watch at our regular time, we honor you guys too. We're both wearing shirts from our amazing friends at Inspired Garden Life. Tell us about your shirt, Jen.
If you want me to listen, we'll talk about tomatoes. Yep, Inspired Garden Life. It's like my favorite. It's like I like the color blue. It's really pretty.
I think our blue is the same. I'm wearing the new tanks. This is our group logo, Tomato Lovers Collective. I love the way these colors look on the blue. And this is a racerback.
Racerback. I love racerbacks.
Me too.
They're so cute.
Me too.
Cute on you.
My favorite. So also they've upped our discount. They offer a coupon code just for viewers of our shows and members of Tomato Lovers Collective at inspiredgardenlife.com. Use TLC20. It was 15 and they've just upped it. So thank you, Tim and Darylyn, for always being so generous. Many of you out there were part of the tank testers. They sent you 3 tank tops for free to test, and you put them on your social media to see to let them know how we feel about it. All we had to do was pay shipping, which for me was $4.95. So yeah, I can't get over how generous they are, and their shirts are amazing. So thanks, Tim and Darylyn. Let's see who else we've got here. Blah Blah's here. Hey, Blah Blah. Nice to see you.
Oh, yeah, I think I saw a comment where she put up she's getting hail. Was
Getting
that blah
hay?
blah? Hail.
Oh, hail.
Oh yeah, she said it's about a half an inch in size.
Oof. We just had a pretty quick rainstorm. I
That's
was outside. Did you not get any? You got it
Oh, I
too?
had 2 rainstorms today.
Oh, okay.
2 rain
We just got,
one at like 1 for like a half an hour, and then just a little while ago, I mean, it was thundering and lightning and more rain, so I didn't get outside all that much today.
yeah. I was out there
Which
for a
probably
couple
good.
hours.
I need to take a rest. Forced rests.
I was happy for the rain though. Although that's when
Mm,
and we can talk about this in our troubleshooting. I get nervous for the rain a bit, even though we need it, because I'm afraid I'm going to go outside and see spots all over leaves. But I was really careful to mulch well. But sometimes disease
mhm,
just happens. And I know Jen and I kind of feel the same way about watering. Both of us kind of wait for the plants to tell us if they're thirsty.
mhm.
So generally, I don't water that much unless I've just planted it.
Yeah, I haven't watered it this year. Only when, like, I plant it, like you do.
Same.
I water them in with some fish emulsion and sometimes a very, like, low dose of, like, a balanced NPK, just, like,
Yep.
something very minimal. I water it down, like, a lot.
Yeah.
But then, like, heavy on, like, the fish emulsion. I give them a
Yep.
good drink of that when I first plant them, and so far, we've had a lot of rain. We've had, like, 2 flooding incidents,
That's right.
so
You did have a lot of rain. We had something, I think, when you got flooded, but it wasn't nearly as bad as yours. I forgot about that.
that was insane. There was little towns near me getting evacuated because it was going to be underwater. I came home early from work that day. I was like, I got to go home. I live on the tippy top of a mountain. So, like, where I am actually located was fine, but I had to get there. And there was just standing water all over the roads. Like, even coming into my neighborhood, most of the road was like covered. And I almost like was just like, is this one of the situations, turn around, don't drown? Like, can I make
Yeah, you
can I
sometimes you
make
don't know.
But I took like a little shortcut there. The water company has like a little road, so I went up through that and then got into my neighborhood. But yeah, I was sitting there debating. I was like, I'm so close to home
And what
now.
happens, and for those of you out there, when you hear something about a massive rainstorm, hail, whatever, what is the first thing you think of? Oh my God, my tomatoes, right?
They're gonna drown,
They're going to drown. Yeah.
which a couple of mine kind of did. Not
Rowena,
completely. They're
yours are all good. They all survived.
There's a couple that are looking pretty rough because where I planted them at Materville, they're like at ground level. A lot of Materville, I put mounds of dirt and then they're planted in the mounds. So the standing water was in the walkways. Well, there was a couple of places where I was just throwing plants in and I didn't have any of the mounds. And so they're like at ground level. And so they were laying in water for like, I don't know,
Mm,
twice now, laying in water for at least a couple of days. It's dried out now, but those plants, they don't look very happy. It's
don't
probably
they?
because they're like lack of nutrients, because it wasn't like there was, my mounds are mushroom compost, like
Right.
piles of mushroom compost, and I just kind of plant in them, like not fresh mushroom compost. Like
Mhm.
sometimes when I get my mushroom compost, it's not broken down a lot. You can tell because it'll still be steaming.
Yeah.
You don't want to plant anything that
Right.
is steaming.
Right.
But like I put it on in January and February and then just let it sit there. But these places where I put these tomatoes that were sitting in water, there was no mushroom compost. It was just like ground soil. And I was just like, I'll throw
Okay.
them in here. They'll be fine.
Right.
I'll fertilize. But no, the tomatoes, if you don't know, they don't like to sit in water.
They don't. They
They don't
don't.
want to drown. Like pots and stuff. Like if you have your pots and it rains heavy and they're in like a pot that's, or like a 10-20 tray that's not draining, they don't want to be sitting in that water. You have to go
They
out there and
don't.
dump. Like I was doing the dumping thing of all my trays multiple times a week. It's just like, but yeah.
They I had a
Trouble,
similar
guys.
thing, but we didn't have flooding. What happened is Rob and I were planting um we were planting for a couple days, and then we didn't get to one of the beds, but he uses a post hole digger to dig out the
Mhm.
holes. So the holes were there. And I keep my seedlings in those seedling grow bags. So I'm like, well, I can't get to planting them, but I'll put the grow bags in each of the holes. And it turned out we had a wicked rainstorm too, and there were just inches of water they were sitting in too. But
Oh,
mine are all
no.
fine, thankfully. Well, I realized the next day, so it wasn't too long. But I'm like, no, my babies. Rowena
Yeah.
says, I'm so sorry for anyone whose plants got damaged. It's crazy. Last year was a crazy weather year for many people too. So I'm with some positive
Yeah.
wishes for everybody for good weather this year.
So that's one thing, like troubleshooting, like you can do everything that you can do with what you can do, but like the weather, like what are you can't control that.
No,
So
it's tragic.
sometimes you just gotta, yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes you gotta like what I did troubleshooting my issue, because sometimes stuff arises. Like I planted them there and I wasn't even thinking that we're gonna get 2 floods.
right.
So what I did is I had extra wood chip mulch that I was going to later on mulch Pepperville.
Oh,
And then
I
I was just,
saw in your garden tour you were going to do this. It was very clever.
yeah, well, I took all that mulch and I buried the piles of water. So, and it did seem to work. I got to most of the standing water with the wood chips that I had, but not all of it. But where the plants were sitting in water, I piled that wood chip mulch up, and it like soaked it up immediately.
That's good.
So now all those wood chips are soaked in water and they'll break down and feed
Right.
my plants. So hopefully, yeah,
Don't you
but
love
that's
when that happens?
troubleshooting. Soak up your flood with wood chips. I
Yeah, no, it was very clever. I was impressed. And if you guys have helpful tips, this isn't just Jen and I giving you tips tonight. We want us all,
yeah.
because I'm certainly no expert. I've tried some
Oh,
things. I've tried a lot of things. Some are epic fails, some are wins. But if you've got any tips that you can share with any of us, if questions pop up, please feel free. Teresa, yes, I'm
yeah.
still planting up second starts for the fall, because I just put something in soil today. There was one
Huh.
that Maggie gave me that I forgot she gave me. Dwarf
You
jade
can't be.
charisma. What? It
I
can't
said
be
you
helped.
can't be. Did you see my message about that one?
No.
I'm going to need seeds for that from you because it's got my
What?
baby's name in it.
Yes, it does. It's based on Craig. I talked to Craig about it today. I asked him about it, and he said it is an off type of dwarf jade beauty.
Mhm.
He said he was doing like a course with Joe Lample from the Joe Gardner podcast, and people were taking part in the course, and it was an off type that came from that. I forgot about
That's
the
so cool.
jade thing. No, but when did you send me the message? Was that in with our notes with
It
Kina?
was in our group chat.
Oh, sorry,
It
missed it.
is probably see what happens when we're all chatting together is Kina and Lauren will be chatting, and then 3 hours later I come, oh look, I got messages, 47 messages, and then I start
You're
commenting back.
you're good like that though. That's smart, because that way you get every message. But I'm
No,
sure.
I don't know what's happening, and I don't even realize it's like, and then I'll look at the time and I'll be like, oh, this was 3 hours ago.
No, as
They're
long as you
done.
don't mind. I mean, 3 days a week you're at work. The other 2 days you're doing YouTubing. I know that. Um,
Yeah.
but as
It's
long as
just
you don't
funny to
mind,
me. I'm like,
it is
you are
funny.
so far behind in everything all the time. Like,
Yeah, but at least it
story of my life.
your face. Hi, Leslie. Thanks for being here. Who else we have? Francis Lamont is here. Hey, Francis. Listening from the sweaty comforts of my John Deere tonight. A single girl's work is never done. I can't miss Tomato Talk. Hi, guys. Glad you're here, Francis. I had to take off my Duluth trading overalls because I wanted you guys to be able to see my shirt. Plus, they were kind of a disaster. They're all disasters. I love those things. Hi, Michael Breyer. Thanks for being here. Oh, Stephen Peterson. Welcome. First time watching. Glad to
Oh,
have you here.
hello.
And Nicole Swartz is here. Hey, Nicole. And Mike is here. Hey, Mike. And Amy. And Jamie. Who else? And Rach, just Rach is here. Deborah Henderson from Australia is here. Hi, Deborah. Thanks for good morning
Hey,
to you.
Deborah.
Hi, Akelia. Akelia, I ordered more Cheeky Monkey today. The Cheeky
Again?
Tomato oil. Oh,
Oh,
that's
okay.
so good. Akelia, for those of you that don't know, Akelia came to our meetup, otherwise known as Tree. That's why I'm calling her Akelia. She came to our meetup last month, and she got Jen and I these little packets. It's called tomato oil by a company by her in Syracuse, New York, called Cheeky Monkey. And Jen and I did shots of it, and then we shared it with everybody. It's just pure deliciousness. If you like garlic and
Yes.
you like tomatoes, it's to die for. So
It's really good.
when I
What
got
have you
home,
been using yours for that you needed more?
I've poured it on pizza. I also there's a
Oh,
dry mix. So if you
I
don't
think
get,
it tastes like pizza.
yeah, it does taste like pizza and
Yeah.
lots of garlic.
If you like to drink oil that tastes like
Well,
pizza.
they also have a dry mix. So it's shelf
Really?
stable, and you just you can pour your own olive oil, mix the dry mix in there, and it tastes like the
Mm.
but I don't get me wrong, I did place a half gallon of the liquid stuff too. But I ordered more. I need to bring it on vacation at the end of the month. And next month, our show next month will not be, I mentioned this on my show yesterday. It won't be the
Oh, yes.
first Friday of the month because that is July 4th, and I'll be coming home from vacation. It'll be Friday, July 11th, and we have a very special guest going to join us. Do you want to say who it is?
Yes, please. I'm so excited.
It's Ashley from Gardening in Canada channel. If you aren't aware of her, check out her channel. You will be hooked. She's she majored in soil science. She does all kinds of gardening, but she does it from a
Yeah.
scientific,
Mhm.
but also in layman's terms. So you're not, because I'm not a
Yeah.
scientist at all.
She's
And
so cute. She's so cute.
yeah, she is. She's
She
adorable.
she did this thing with Miracle Grow. So where
I
she
didn't see
said that
that
she
one.
yeah, well, the controversy with Miracle Grow and all
Yes.
that stuff. Well, she was just like, it's completely safe. This is how safe it is. And she took the bag and went to pour it in her mouth, but then she cuts off and it's like a bag of blue Kool-Aid and pours it in like she's eating the Miracle Grow. It was funny. I was just like, oh,
Maybe I
she's
did
so
see
cute. I
that.
love her.
She is. She's very authentic, and she's going to talk to us next month about soil health, which is a topic we haven't really touched on. And what better person to do it than
Because
her?
I know nothing. I just keep adding things, hoping that I'm doing.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just like
just
mushroom compost. I think
mycorrhizal
it.
fungi. You can't go wrong with that. I just keep adding that.
I've been putting that in every planting hole. I've even got it in right now. I'm trying to roots things, and I've got it I've got my horehound here, and I
Yep.
put some mycorrhizae fungi in the water. Anytime I put anything I'm trying to plant, I'm putting some mycorrhizae fungi in there.
Same.
And
Same.
I've got my fiddle leaf fig tree. It looks kind of sad right now, but I'm trying to get it to propagate. Mycorrhizae fungi.
I've been
I
doing
think I
that
see a
too.
ridge.
I am. Everybody knows that watches me that I'm a sucker for suckers, and I'll take suckers from plants and I will stick them in soil. What's that one?
Suckers of. So I did this today. I was over at Materville just tying up some tomatoes. This is sweet tropical pear. This is one of the plants. I've got two, but this is one of the ones that got drowned. Is
Oh,
that a
okay,
word?
that's really smart.
So I took suckers from the good one because that one just looks pathetic. I'm like, I think you've been beat up a little too hard. But I've got 5 or 6 of them in cups right now. These are colorful cups, so you
They
can't
are. They're
see.
cute.
But these are my
Pear.
also my long store tomatoes. So I
Oh, okay.
planted them. I started seeds for them and planted them early like I did last year.
Yeah.
And the intention was to do this with the suckers so that I have later ones for later
Great.
on.
That's smart.
Well, we'll see. I don't know.
I didn't do a single long keeper this year.
You didn't? I thought you were doing one.
I was going to do one winter heart, and then, well, some things came in the mail, I needed to make room.
Yes.
But now I'm planting duplicates of things, so I'm just a maniac. I wish I did.
Yeah.
Actually, probably I could probably start seeds for it now. That winter heart looked good. All right, let's get through some comments because we need to troubleshoot.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
oh, Jamie says she likes the opening. Good.
Yeah, there's a couple people.
Our
Like the music.
little girl tomatoes are really cute.
Yes,
I'm
just like, oh, they're so adorable.
They are cute. I know. It's hard not to smile.
Yeah.
Martha says white flies are everywhere this year for me.
Mm-hmm.
Inside or
Yeah.
outside? I've been seeing the pink
Aphids are
aphids outside. That's normally an
driving me
inside
nuts.
thing for me, and my
They're outside
theory,
this year.
so you've got them too.
I'm still
Weird.
battling them. They're less, I guess, invasive outside because there's stuff that's probably eating them.
Right.
But they're still, like, I've been spraying neem once a week underneath the leaves, trying to just keep it from getting out of control.
Now tell me why.
Where are all the leaves? Huh?
Tell me, because at least the pink flies I'm talking about don't do any damage at all. Unless we're talking about a different bug. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure.
Aphids? They're sap suckers. They
They're-
They suck.
I can't find any evidence. Even when it's inside, I can't find any evidence.
You won't see it on, like, you'll see it later on once they've, like, your like, the plants, the leaves will start to kind of shrivel and kind of almost look like not herbicide damage, but they kind of crinkle up like that, and then
I'll have to keep an eye on them again.
Like I said, it's harder to see. Like, that's what I had going on in my basement inside.
Well, me too.
Pink
They come on my micro dwarfs, and I've never seen any actual damage from them.
You can't. It's like they suck the sap from it.
Okay, we'll have to keep it
from the underneath of the leaves. Look on the underneath. If you're looking on top,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jen.
The top of the leaves, you won't really see a whole bunch of them. If you lift up
the under, well, that's where I'm seeing them. And my theory, and I've shared this with you and Kina before, I think they flock to the varieties that are the most sweet.
Yeah, there are certain ones that they like this. I heard that they don't like, I don't know if this is true. So if somebody's watching and I saw a post where someone said that you should make molasses water. Now, tomato plants, they like molasses water, but they said that aphids don't like the sweetness of molasses water, so it will deter them. I didn't know if it was true, and I haven't tried it. I thought about trying it, but I have the neem, so I've just been using the neem. But that stuff, it's starting to make me, like, I don't like the smell of it anymore. Maybe it's just the association with the aphids and the battle with them. I'm disgusted. I'm like, I don't want to smell this anymore.
I just put in the comments, Jen likes a particular, tell us about neem oil for anybody that doesn't know about neem oil. I just put in the comments the link to the type of neem oil that Jen likes from Captain Jack's. But tell us what you use it for.
So I get that bottle. It is concentrated. So you use, and it'll tell you on the package whether you use 1, 2, 3, 4 tablespoons, like how much infestation. Like 1 tablespoon will be just to prevent the aphids, and then 4 will be if you've already got an infestation. So I use it like mostly on the underside of leaves. So you just got to lift your leaves up and then spray underneath of it. It comes already made in a sprayer form too.
Let me see if I can pull. No, not that.
No, is neem like a nut?
I think it is. I've also used something called neem meal.
Yes. Something
that you can sprinkle on the soil. I got that. Here's the neem oil that Jen likes as Captain Jack's. But so you can use this for pests. I've used it also, not on tomatoes, but if you battle like cabbage moths on your brassicas, I've used neem oil for that. But there you go. I put the link to this in the comments. So you spray it on the underside of the leaves when you find aphids?
aphids, those little pink aphids, white aphids. They come in like, I've got green ones. I've seen green ones this year. They come in like 4 different colors. They're aphid rainbows this year. I don't.
I'm seeing them. I saw them on all the colors of the world, the pink ones today.
That's funny.
So I
Oh,
think I can. I think I can kind of see which ones are going to be sweet because the little pink aphids go to that.
yeah.
Let's see. What other questions do you guys have?
Do you want me to read the ones from the Facebook post?
Sure.
Someone asked about.
Um,
I'm curious
James
about this too.
Washington
That
says baking soda, vinegar, and water. Is that for your pest control, James? I've heard of that.
I've heard of the baking soda and vinegar to get rid of weeds.
And Teresa says cinnamon for white flies and water, soap, and a little oil for aphids. I have all
I've
the
heard about that
makings
too.
for it.
Dish soap.
Generally, I battle it more for pepper starts in my house.
It's the weirdest thing. Like, there's nothing on my peppers that are outside right now. But you are
Me
right.
neither.
Inside, they will be disgustingly
Yeah,
covered. Like, it was almost like I was so scared because I had the aphid infestation all through winter with all the plants I was growing down there. And then I was like, I'm going to start my pepper seeds and they're just going to be destroyed. So I was like trying to get them out into the greenhouse, trying to make sure my greenhouse could get heated up and get those out there before the aphid infestation,
yeah.
but.
And I did. I managed to somehow not get them inside this year, but I was able to bring them outside before. Let me show you, talking about aphids indoors. There's another thing that we found out about from Val Smith.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
It's called, oops, where'd it go? It's called First Saturday Lime.
Mm-hmm. And it's like used mostly for like in like your chicken. Well, no, I shouldn't say used mostly, but a lot of people use it for inside their chicken coops and just to keep that kind of pest damage or pest issues down. But yeah, it works for your pepper plants because Val's had an issue with her pepper plants
Right.
getting taken over by aphids, and she said she sprinkled this all over them and no issue this year. So yay!
Yeah, I
So
tried
of
it
course,
on my peppers.
I went and got it.
I just put the link in the comments, but this is it, First Saturday Lime. It's even safe for pets. So if it's, I try to
Mm-hmm.
garden organically when I can. This is OMRI certified, and it's very, very safe. The problem is the bag I ordered is massive, so I'll never need to order any more of it again. I don't know, 20-pound bag. Yeah, that may last me a while. But it's good stuff.
Thank you, Jamie. I loved your garden tours, Jen. Yeah, thank you.
I do too.
Oh,
Lacey
thank
said,
you.
I had white fuzzy leaf hoppers for the first time, and apparently they're not much of a threat unless you get swarmed.
I've seen some weird stuff already this year. I've taken pictures of it. I had like I took a picture of a spider yesterday. And if I don't know what it is, and I don't know if it's harmful or not, I leave it be because I'm just like, hey, you're probably a good guy.
Yeah.
But I posted a picture and someone said it was a crab spider or something because it's got like
Yeah.
the arms. Makes it look like a crab. It was really neat looking. It was orange. Wasn't doing anything. And then I took a picture of, I believe it was a walnut. What did they call it? Walnut sphinx moth. That thing was like
Sounds
crazy
scary.
looking. It looked like it was going to turn into a vampire. Like, I was like, what is that thing? Because I was getting ready to tie up a tomato and it was right there on the fence. And I was like, whoop. Because I thought it was a leaf. It was like gray. And then it had like these arms like wrapped around the fence thing. It kept me away. But I mean, again, I don't know if it was good or bad, but it wasn't doing anything. I just said, I'll tie that tomato up later. I walked away.
Have you used the little information thing on your phone when you take pictures?
Mm-mm.
So if you take a picture, you have an iPhone, right?
Yes, I do.
There's your picture, and down here is like oops, where'd it go? There's a little I, lowercase I with a little circle around it. And if you click on that,
okay, I see
mine
it.
says look up plant. And then I click on that,
What?
and looks up pictures of the plant. So I use that for a lot of bugs and I use it for a lot of plants. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's really cool. Oh man, I'm gonna have to go outside and play with that now.
Yeah, it's
See
fun.
how accurate it is.
That's how I figured out what you gave me, a crown daisy, right? Was it a crown daisy you gave me?
I don't know.
Maybe the information was wrong. You gave me a couple beautiful flowers and I planted it and my information said it's a crown daisy. But then I showed my friend Nicole the other day and she wasn't sure it was a crown daisy.
I don't think it's a crown daisy because I don't recall having any crown daisies.
So maybe it's not always right.
It's probably something from a winter sowing jug. It could be a lily. There was a couple of lilies.
Lily.
I don't know. You'll have to send me a picture of it. I'll probably be able to tell you what it is if you send me a picture.
It's very beautiful.
I gave you edible chrysanthemum. I know that.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. That could be it.
It's really pretty. It's a real pretty yellow flower, and the leaves of it are like wispy, and it's just really pretty.
Yeah, I think that's it. I have to look.
It's probably edible chrysanthemum because I was super proud that they germinated so well.
The leaves could look like a chrysanthemum for sure. Terry wants to know, has anybody tried Supermator, normal tomato with a graft? Nope, not me.
No, what is that? I did see on Ashley's channel where she grafted a tomato to a potato plant.
Oh yeah, they're
potatoes at the bottom and then tomatoes on top. I'm just like,
they sell those. They sell those at like Totally Tomatoes and places.
No, they don't. Do they?
Yeah, they do. They do. I forget what it's called. There's a name typed. Oh, it's called ketchup and fries. That's what they call that plant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's why.
Because they're from the same family. Oh, my friend Nicole's watching. She just texted me. She told me, hey, Nicole, she told me, is that a Tong Ho? And I'm like, I don't know. My info is telling me it's that it's called Tong Ho. I knew it. That's what I thought. So I guess that's an edible chrysanthemum.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. Thanks.
I'm sure that's what I gave you. Yeah. I think I gave you that. Did I give you any sunflowers this year? I wanted to give you some sunflowers.
You didn't. And I had actually, you gave me sunflowers last year and we loved them. And I went to start my own this year and I put them in our planter and the little chipmunk guys, they just eat them.
Yeah. I cannot do sunflower seeds outside. I have to start them inside and then I have to get them to, I've noticed, to at least a decent size. Like they have to be like this big for me to put them in the ground. Because the chipmunks or the birds, if they're little seedlings, sometimes I've done little seedlings and something will come and just pull them right out of their holes and just leave them lay there. I'm like, you are just jerks. Like I have these little Dollar Tree baskets. See, we're troubleshooting. We're doing the thing.
Troubleshooting.
I have these Dollar Tree baskets. They're like that I sit on top of little tiny seedlings, like my squash seedlings, my gourd seedlings. If I do start things from seed, I'll put them baskets on top because they just come through and they just, I don't know why they do that. They're just like little,
and they're so cute. They're so cute. Nick and I saw chipmunk the other day that was in where my sunflowers are. Maybe I'll try direct sowing. It's getting a little late now, but we'll see.
We've built rock walls several areas on our property and they love rock walls.
That's where it is. It's at the end of our driveway in a rock wall planter, little buggers.
They probably have their bed or their little nest somewhere behind a rock wall.
What do you guys use for deterrents for things like chipmunks? I have I've used cinnamon, I've used cayenne pepper.
I've done peppermint oil. I've done rosemary oil. I've done on cotton balls. Like I've done the cotton ball thing. Someone asked about the Irish Spring soap. That was one of the questions on the Facebook.
I saw that.
So I've heard, and I think it's funny, I've heard that it deters deer like really well. But then we went to the seed meetup and someone told me there that she thought it attracted the deer. And I had put that in a vlog saying that. And someone goes, Irish Spring soap doesn't attract anything because it stinks. It stinks so bad. I had the bars of soap like prepped. Like sometimes I'll prep things just to get them ready and then, leave them sit as a reminder. Oh, you need to do this. So I had the string already attached to them. I was ready to tie them to the fence. And then like the whole kitchen, this whole area just stunk like Irish Spring soap. And I was just like throwing up in my mouth a little bit. I took them out to the greenhouse and they're sitting in there because I'm still like on the fence. Like, should I hang them up? Should I not? Has anybody I don't know. Like, I don't want to attract the deer because it is a potent smell.
It
It'll
is.
if they
It is. It's
it'll
got a
bring them because
potent
it
smell.
travels. But
Let's
yeah.
see if anybody else has any deterrents for chipmunks. Our chipmunks don't like peppermint oil at all, says Teresa. Dawn dish soap and neem oil mix. I've heard of that too. Heidi says, I toss the seeds in the garden and hope for the best. Yeah, well, I guess I could do that in my rock wall planter. I just have a feeling they're just going to eat them all like little snacks. Cats, Lisa, yeah, our Rory the Wonder Cat's an indoor cat. And plus, she's lazy. I don't know if she would do anything.
Yeah, mine just plays with, like, if a mouse gets in here into the house, they'll play with it.
I could see Rory doing that too. She can't be bothered.
You're supposed to kill goofballs, so then I got to catch it. Like, they'll be playing with it, and it'll be, like, stunned in fear, and I can, like, scoop it up into something and be like, okay, you were supposed to not play with it, not terrorize it.
Karen says she has to pre-start sunflowers, then cover the seedlings with frost cloth or netting until they become sturdy.
And that's another thing. Someone mentioned, where was it at? Roly-polies. Yes. I battle those every year. And I think it's partly because of the mushroom compost, because roly-polies, they like break down.
They're the little organic gray things.
Yeah, and they roll up into a ball.
Yeah, like little armadillos.
They almost, yeah. I was gonna say they look like armadillos, but yeah. So like wood chips, I use wood chips. I use mushroom compost. So all that stuff, they're there to break it down.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they'll munch on your little seedlings. So that's another thing. Putting those little baskets sometimes can kind of deter them from.
Yeah.
But covering them, you gotta cover them. Or I use that slug and snail bait.
Oh, let me pull that up.
There's also something called Sluggo too. Sluggo's like expensive though, so I'm cheap. I've never tried
a problem with slugs.
I have them with my tomatoes, peppers. I always have to put it down because again, wood chips, they come with all the moisture that the wood chips hold. So yeah, I'm still killing slugs, picking them off my kale, off my Swiss chard. They just really like, I've seen them on sunflowers. I've seen them on Rudbeckia.
Yeah. Here's a link to the slug stuff that Jen's talking about. Let me see if I can pull it up. It's, where'd it go? What about grubs? I don't see a lot of them, but I do see them sometimes deep in my soil. Do you get them?
The thing that sign of having those is like patches of your lawn will yellow because they like to eat the roots of your lawn. I don't really know. Well, my lawn was dead for most of the year last year, so I don't really. It was just completely dead all of summer. But no, I don't know. But they have that. What is it? Grubex? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really do anything about them because they're not problematic, but I do get them, especially in my potato beds.
Yeah, I've never really. What do they look like? They're like big and white, right? Big,
ugly white. They're not that big, but maybe like that big.
Yeah. They're so gross.
So tell us what I've seen like slug and snail bait.
Just toss it about.
Toss it about.
That's exactly. It is just like this, like little, tiny pelleted white things, and I just cast it everywhere.
Okay.
If I'm having like a real issue, I'll put it really thick like not real thick, but I put it around like the plant that I'm like, if it's like a precious plant, like, cause sometimes I'll have just like one seed germinate and I'm like, really, like I have a Martin house gourd and I was just like babying that thing. I
Yeah.
covered it with the basket. I put like a line of slug and snail bait all around that thing. And I'm just like fingers crossed. Cause I've been trying to grow Martin house gourds for 3 years now.
What do
And they
those look
always get
like?
eaten. They are like a birdhouse gourd, except not
Mhm.
with like the bottleneck. It's just like,
Oh,
I don't know, almost triangular shaped,
yeah.
but in such a
Oh,
way, like I have these things that I want to make with them and they look like chickens. It's like they
oh, I know what
painted
you're
them.
talking about. Yeah.
I don't know.
I
And they
think
would
you
make
showed me
good
a picture of what
birdhouses
you wanted to
too.
make with it. What's that?
Mhm. And you can make birdhouses with them too,
Yeah.
drill a hole in them and hang them up. Yeah,
You're so
birdhouses, but
crafty.
well, you say that, but I have all the gourds that I've grown sitting in my basement
Yeah,
doing
but you'll get to
absolutely
it at some point. You're a busy girl.
yeah.
Um, Achilles
Too
says
many
she
tomatoes.
uses sluggo
Oh,
pills for slugs and earworms.
yeah.
Karen says, I've used aluminum foil as an apron at the lower several inches of beans and peas to protect against critters biting through the shoots. Good idea.
I've done that for squash and pumpkins, wrapped it around the bottom of the stem, because then, what's the one that loves squash? A squash, not squash bugs. Is it squash
Yeah,
bugs? Is it
squash.
as simple as that?
There
Squash
are squash bugs, and I'm forgetting the name of
they
them.
get into the vine and they like eat the inside of the vine.
There's
So
Colorado
you'll see
squash beetles, I think. Squash vine borer, is that one?
vine borers. That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking of. Vine borers. They get inside the vine, but like wrapping it with aluminum foil seemed to work last year because I
Oh,
don't recall
cool.
having any. I mean, everything died in the drought, so maybe that's. I, you know, sometimes you think, oh, it worked, and it really wasn't working. It was something else that in the elements that had changed. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all a big experiment every year. I just
Every year.
experiment with.
I've been doing this 30 years. Every year is an experiment. That's why I'll never say I'm an expert. I'm forever learner and always looking for new stuff.
Yeah, I
Achilles
might
says,
learn to do things better, but I'll never have it figured
yeah,
out. Let's
every
just
year I take away lessons.
a
Every year.
little something. Yep. Mhm.
Achilles says, depending on which animal you are trying to deter, you can buy the urine of the predator that kills them to spray around your garden. I've heard
Ooh,
that
yummy.
a couple years ago. Was it last year or the year before? I think it was the year before. We had a problem with groundhogs and one
Oh,
in particular. And I have to say, he was super cute. He was kind of a smaller one. He got into our bean beds. Rob set up a blink camera so we could watch him because we didn't know what was taking a bite out of like one tomato and tossing it and then going on to the next one. And
you
we had,
sent me a video. He
yes,
was adorable.
his name was Grateful George.
He's getting
And
up into your grow pots and just shaking them.
that's what I was gonna say. He's like waddling up. He stands on one of my grow bags, takes a stem, he just shakes until the thing falls down. Like, so funny. I meant to bring one of those videos up, but
There's
oh,
3 groundhogs over at Materville right now on the
yeah.
outside.
Last
They're
year
over
was
there.
bunnies for me. They were eating like my zinnias and all that stuff. But
I have no deterrent for that because I want all the bunnies.
I thought of the groundhog because Rob and I were beside ourselves before we knew what we were going to do. He ended up not killing it. Don't worry. Yeah, humanely trapped. I will say that. But
Uh-huh.
we took Rory's kitty litter because he had read that if you put it
I do that.
because it lived under our
I do
deck,
that.
it didn't seem to care.
Oh, see, yeah, I mean, I did that for the first year of Materville, and I just had that little green fence, and I put the cat litter all around the outside of that fence. Now, again, like I'm saying, like, was it the cat litter? It possibly could have been
Yeah.
because the deer didn't bother jumping over the fence to get in it. Neither did the groundhogs. And then last year, when they broke through the fence, I didn't do the cat litter thing.
Hmm.
So
So that could have
maybe was
worked.
because I didn't put the cat litter down. I don't remember. Plus, I did. I forgot to do the bird. I usually put up the bird. What is that stuff? It's like not translucent,
Yeah,
iridescent tape. And I forgot to do it here at the house, but I did it over at Materville. And I never had issues with birds. And I kept getting, you get like the little tiny holes, and it's a bird sitting there pecking and getting the
yeah,
moisture. And we had a really dry year last year. And I was getting all these holes in lots of my
yeah.
tomatoes. And I was just like, what's going on? And then I realized I didn't put up that tape. So I
That's
think the
a
tape
really
works
good
too.
idea. Tell everybody what you're talking about who may not know.
It's just this roll of like, is it iridescent? That's not what it
Yeah,
is.
sort
What
of.
would you
Like
call that? Chrome
metallic tape.
metallic tape, and
Yeah.
it's real shiny. And you just take a long string, cut it, and then I tie it to my trellises, or I don't know. If you didn't have trellises, you could stick a stick in the ground and tie it to that. So when the wind blows, it like makes this. It is obnoxious. I will say that. Like when you're walking around tying it, and it's breezy outside.
It's a
So
brilliant idea, though.
the sound of it, and I think the reflection of the sun, it deters
Yeah.
birds.
And
And
birds
I
eat
think it works.
tomatoes when they're thirsty, so bird baths
They're
and things
thirsty.
like that,
Mhm.
are helpful. Nicole, if you're still watching, what was the name of the bird? She came to me. I had given her 2 trays of tomatoes a few weeks ago, and she came the other day to pick up more from me, and she brought along 2 tags, and she said, "Do you have any of these left? Because this particular bird ate these plants." And
No!
she said it was a catbird, but she's
What
like,
in
"Do
the
you have
world?
Temptation of Sophia and Catbird?" She just texted me. Thanks, Nick. Um,
Catbird.
Temptation of Sophia and All the Colors of the World. I think that was it. So,
Oh, wow.
I know
Oh.
Sophia's. I got Nicole. She has my spreadsheet, and she's like, "I want more Sophias." So it's funny that my friend who didn't know about Sophia, she's like, "Well, you sure think she's special?" So I'm excited for them.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's all it takes is just someone else's excitement, and then it
Yeah,
it
well,
gets you excited about
Nicole's a
things.
floral arranger. We've known each other for years and years and years. She was the choreographer of the school plays that my kids were in, but our lives just
Oh, neat.
parallel. And she's a floral designer and nature, big fan of nature, and she uses a lot of native plants in her arrangements. She's like uber talented.
Oh.
So she's really
Oh, I
into
bet
this
you
stuff too. And her
unique. I
boyfriend
like
just,
unique things like that.
oh gosh, I'll send you some pictures sometime. She's amazing.
Yes, please.
Kristen says, with squirrels, I've tried all the tricks, but adding more bird feeders with sunflower seeds has done the trick for me since the past fall. What a great idea. Great idea. That makes sense. And Deborah says, Jen, you need a duck to eat your slugs.
Yeah. I wish I could let my chickens see, but then they destroy all my plants in the process. But, like, I wish I could let my chickens free range,
Yeah.
but
So what are
I'm
some of
sure
the
they.
other questions people were asking in the group? Do you have that pulled up, Jen?
Oh, yes. Someone asked about what's the best fertilizer and how often to use it.
Mm,
I don't know. I was telling Lauren before the show started, I'm trying like 3 different ones this year, and that's probably not the smartest thing to do because how am I supposed to know if something's, like, epic?
yeah.
What was it that I did? I don't know. I'm using Hybrix, and then as, like, a liquid fertilizer, I'm using Captain Jack's. I don't even know what it's called. Like, it's like a high. It's high, and
You
so
gave me
I
a couple
dilute
of
that.
names. Let me look.
I dilute that quite a bit. And then, of course, my fish emulsion. I love my fish emulsion.
You've got Jack's
But
Classic Feed.
yeah, that's it.
Okay. Let
That's
me
not
pull that
Captain
up.
Jack's Classic Feed. Captain Jack's is the name. I don't know if it's the same Jack.
It kind of didn't look like the same Jack, at least their logo. All right, let me pull this
Yeah.
up for you guys, and I'll put the link to this in the
But
comments.
I'm still experimenting. I don't really know the answer to that. I will say fish emulsion if you really want to get your plants going. That's what I use every time I plant something. I will water it in with fish emulsion water.
Yeah,
That's what I feed all my seedlings up until it's time for them to go outside. It just helps. It's basically a lot of nitrogen, so it helps
yeah,
promote green, get go in. They absolutely love it. So if I have a plant that is struggling, and I don't know why, I will give them so all those ones on the fence that are like struggling, I keep giving them fish emulsion, and none of them are dead yet. But
Yeah.
it kind of helps them out a little bit.
I've used fish
Oh, that's
emulsion
another
for years. Is this the
thing.
stuff
Is
you're
any
talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm using. But I was wondering, what people if any of you have any suggestions for plants. Like, we had some seedlings this year. Like, it's a lot of times it's hearts with their wispy foliage and
Mhm,
their like Sophia, she's got a bunch of different heart varieties, and
mhm.
a lot of people had trouble with those. What was it? Tupelo honey gave people, was that just germination or the
That was
plants themselves?
germination. Yeah, many of us had trouble with that, but Victoria Salute, Nicole, I
Victoria
just gave her
salute.
I gave Nicole's the one I gave your extra Victoria Salute plant to.
I
Um,
I had trouble with Indiana Red. That's a Jim White
I've
variety. I
heard
tried
that.
growing that for 3 years. I finally got it to get going last year, and I got tomatoes from it. But it was one that just like every year, it just looked like it wanted to die. Everything else in the tray looked fine. Indiana Red just looked like it struggled, and for 2
Yeah,
years, I just couldn't get it to get in the ground. Or I put it in the ground and it died soon after. But like Victoria Salute,
yeah.
same thing. Like
You had good luck,
somebody
but mine, Keena's, many out there had problems with Victoria Salute. It looked fine at first, germinated just fine. And then somebody in the group, I think it was Elizabeth, wrote, anybody having like drama problems with Victoria Salute? And I'm all cocky. I'm like, no, mine are fine. Yeah, spoke too soon. Then they weren't fine. And Keena said hers died. So I think Malachite
yeah,
Jen had it too.
there's lots of those heart varieties that are just
Yeah.
like they just so pitiful
Yep.
all the time, and you're just like, and then you think, am I underwatering, am I overwatering, what does this thing want? They usually want in the ground, like they want to not be in pots, it seems like, because
Yeah.
when those look like that, if I can get them in the ground, get them going, like once they're in the ground they start to perk up a little bit. But
Yep. They do.
other than that, I just don't.
And I seem to have trouble with more the potato leaf varieties. Like they just don't like to be inside. They don't like artificial light once they're outside. I had a couple Bill Yoder's last year, some of his Prince collection. The cherries I tried to grow inside 3 times because I wanted to grow them in the winter. And the potato leaf ones, they just didn't like it. And once they were outside, they were just fine.
Yeah.
For fertilizer, I've been using, well, you guys know I'm an evangelist. Maybe you know, maybe you don't. For this stuff, it's called Bigfoot. It's a mycorrhizal fungi, but I like this one because it also has kelp meal and worm castings, biochar, and humic acid, which all help with germination and healthy root system. So a lot of mycorrhizae just have the mycorrhiza, which is basically mushroom. So there's a
So is
granulated,
that
what?
okay? I was going to say, is that the granulated or the powder, or do you like both, or how do you
I like
use?
both, but for different things. So the granular I will sprinkle on the roots when I up pot and when I plant it. But as far as fertilizer, I take this is the water soluble version,
Okay.
and I'll mix a big bucket with some of this. I've started using the Epsom salts, thanks to you guys out there that recommended that. And what else am I putting in the water? Maybe that's it. I mean, this is kind of one stop um, shopping, I think. So I'm not using the fish emulsion this year. And then I've started putting this in the holes when I up pot too. It's Happy Frog, same company that does the ocean forest soil that I love so much, Fox Farm. So let me give you the links to all those. This has like bone meal, feather meal, a lot of good stuff. And this is Omri certified too. So, and of course, I just got dirt all over my desk. But that's, and Jen and I were talking before the show. I don't have a regular fertilizing schedule. Some people do like every 2 weeks. I really don't. I did just do all of them. I will do it. I'll say this. I do it more with the grow bag ones because in the grow bags, you have to water more often. And the more you water, all the good stuff in the soil will leach out where you're really just left with a soil with no nutrients in it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let me put the Bigfoot the water soluble, I'll put in the comments. So this stuff does add up. It does. But I had been using Neptune's Harvest. I used their crab and lobster meal in the hole also, but I had been using their kelp, liquid kelp fish emulsion for years, and I liked it too. Rach says, only my big hearts are fed that heavily. Yeah, honestly, it takes a lot for me to fertilize. Like I may do it once or twice the season, but that's kind of it. Mary says, Captain Jack dead bug brew? I don't know that. Dead bug brew?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rowena says, I've got a couple of hearts that were late starts, so we're fairly small and sickly looking when I was able to start putting them outside to harden off. 2 weeks later, they are looking almost normal. That's great. That's great.
Where are you in the comments? How many minutes?
All over the place. Right now, that was just a 1 minute behind.
Okay. Oh, okay, because I have a comment. I'm going to put it up from Jamie. I think sphinx moths have hornworm-like babies. What?
Oh, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
Should I have gotten rid of that heinous-looking guy?
I think if you look further, it's a myth.
Okay.
But oh no, I'm sorry. The myth is they're hummingbird. There's something called a hummingbird moth. And Rob and I were watching some video, and they're like, and in the caterpillar thing, it's the tomato hornworm. And we're like, no, because we had seen some of these hummingbird moths. So maybe the sphinx moths are hornworms. You may want to check that out. But all I know is that it was Rob and I freaked out when we had heard that about the hummingbird moth.
Have you ever heard of that? What is the West Virginia? It's like some sort of myth about there's what is it, the Mothman or something, I think, here in West Virginia. That's what that thing reminded me of, the Mothman. It was, there's some sort of like myth about this flying Mothman. He looks like half man, moth with wings, like scaring people in West Virginia. I don't know.
Linda, you bring up a really good point. Has anyone had problems with fish emulsion drawing animals that live by the woods?
I don't think I have.
I haven't either. I mean, I don't have woods, but kind of in my backyard, there's woods, and I definitely get bunnies and groundhogs and things like that. We do have a fenced-in backyard, though, so the deer could definitely jump the fence if they wanted to. They don't seem to, but the bears, I guess they could probably climb our fence too, but I have not had problems with it yet.
I've heard for fertilizers, dogs. Like if you're using like granular fertilizers or anything like that, dogs. Keep it away from your dogs because they will mess with it. But I haven't really seen like nothing like comes in. I mean, they would be digging up all of my plants because I fish emulsion everywhere in my garden.
I thought of that the other day. I was using up some fish emulsion I had gotten a couple of years ago, and I just put it in the bucket with my first batch. And I actually did think of that, like, it smells pretty fishy, it could definitely attract stuff.
It is very potent. It is very potent, but no, I haven't noticed it. What'd you say?
Yvette just woke up and we're live, so I just said hi to Yvette.
Oh, hi, Yvette. I thought you said yet, and I was like, don't say that.
Oh. Oh, wait, Nicole says there's a movie about the Mothman. The Mothman Prophecies.
I don't know if I've seen that one, but there's other, like, what was it? I think it was was it Unsolved Mysteries or some, I don't know, but yeah, makes it sound so creepy.
And what were some other things that people wanted to know about in the group? You still have the page pulled up?
Plant shock. And is 6 to 8 weeks enough for a jump start to the season? I'm guessing like starting seeds. That was Anthony Smith that asked that question. Like I said, fish emulsion. I have noticed when I plant my plants, I never have any plant shock. And that's with pretty much anything if I give them a drink of fish emulsion. I did this year, and I planted those tomatoes, most of my tomatoes on a week, and it was pretty hot. It was in the 80s. And I was kind of worried about them. So I gave them a good drink of fish emulsion water. No shock at all. And that's
Yeah.
what I did with flowers. I gave everything I planted, everything. I had a bucket, a big old 10-gallon or 5-gallon, I don't know. I think it was 10. Carrying it around with me. Planted something, fish emulsion. Go to the next place. Planted, fish emulsion.
Yeah.
Everything got fish emulsion. And unless it got eaten by pill bugs or something, they all did great. Like they did not have transplant shock. They didn't die. Like I've even added it to like suckers. I was trying to take a sucker from something. I had a tomato that I decapitated one of the starts called crepuscule or something. I'm
Oh, I'm
probably
growing
pronouncing
that.
it.
Yeah.
And I had one plant left and I went to go to plant it and I actually broke it off. So I was
Oh,
like, oh my God, no, this is the only one I've got. So I actually ripped the bottom leaves off and shoved it in a cup of fish emulsion water. And the plant's doing fine. Put it in the
nice.
ground.
Good.
Once it started rooting, I put it in the ground. So I actually think fish emulsion is like gold. Like fish
That's
emulsion
how I
everywhere.
that's how I feel about the Bigfoot.
Uh-huh.
I don't
I'm
generally have plant shock either. You do want to wait a little bit. You definitely don't want to up pot like a tiny, tiny seedling, but I sprinkle this on the roots and I feel like it's gold to that and the ocean forest soil, which I love so much.
yeah.
But yeah, you definitely, some people up pot a bit too soon and, you know, you definitely want at least their first set of full leaves on it before you do that. But in general, I don't seem to have issues with it either.
And I
And
would say
that's answered your
like
question.
on the lower side, like 6 weeks. Like everybody says, what is it, 8 to 12 weeks, or is it
I
like
think they
starting your
six
seed?
to eight.
Like I think six, like even like this year,
I started
again,
some
I think fish
4 weeks.
emulsion just yeah. Like I think the fish emulsion that I use sometimes just really makes them start going to town.
Yeah,
And like yeah, you got like when I was planting some of these things out, I was like, they're monsters. And it happened in like a matter of 2 weeks. Like the
yeah,
second I sat them outside where they were getting natural light and the days were warmer, like they just like went
they
from
explode.
this to poof, and I
Yeah,
was just like, whoa, like I gotta plant these. It's not time to plant them. So if like each year I keep bumping it up a week. Like this week
same.
I started seeing a week or two later than I did last year, and I'm still like thinking, man, I think I could go another week later.
Yeah,
So
I know
the
that.
it,
That's why the plants I gave you were not all of them. Some of them were small because I just pushed them off. We didn't even start until I think the second week in April. We used to do second week in March, and so I pushed it off another week this year. But I think
yeah,
that's a big mistake people make is starting too early. And I
I've
fell
made
into that trap for many years because you think you're going to get early tomatoes, and it's you're not going to get any earlier tomatoes. That's where your plant is going to go into shock, is if it's
yeah,
just too big before
it's
you're ready to plant.
unless you have, and I know they have these things. They have like heating wires that you can put in your soil to heat up like
Really?
outdoor beds. Yeah. I think Garden Answer. I watched a video where she had some beds where she was putting some, I don't know if it's why, I don't know what it is, but it's something that was heating her soil. But that's the key.
Yeah.
Your plants want a certain, I was going to bring this up. Ashley, she's got this a doohickey. I don't even know the name of it,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it tests the temperature of your soil, and she swears by, is it 20 degrees Celsius? She will not plant. I don't know if it's 20 degrees. Maybe it's 10 degrees because 20 seems like a lot. But if it's not, I think it's 10 degrees. 10 degrees Celsius, like she checks the temperature of her soil. She is not putting her tomatoes in the ground until it's that temperature. So she tests her soil. But that's the key of it. Like if it's cold outside and your soil temperature that you're putting these roots into is cold, they're not going to do anything. So it doesn't really matter if you protect the actual plant itself. It may grow a little bit, but it's not going to thrive because those roots want the warmth that the soil gives. And you'll notice when it starts to get warmer outside, the longer days, that heat up the soil, that's when your plants just they go bonkers.
And this is why I love her so much. This is the gizmo you're talking about?
Yes, that's it.
I'm going to put the link in the comments.
Maybe
I
she'll
didn't
talk
know
about
she
it
had
a
a
little
gizmo.
bit. Yeah,
What's that?
maybe she'll talk about it a little bit when she's here in
Yeah.
July.
Yeah, you guys will have to let us know what you want us to ask her. All right, I've just put the link to this in the comments. I have so many questions myself.
Yeah.
Maybe I should write her back and say, did I say 90 minutes? I meant 3 hours.
Yeah, can you be our friend like Craig is our friend and just keep coming back? I did the Irish Spring.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Jen.
No, you go ahead. I was just trying to read the rest of the comments to see if there was anything different.
Heidi said, I always see her use it like a meat thermometer. Akeelia wants to know both of our hardening off process.
I use shade cloth. So last year I started doing this because I just have so many starts, and the whole carrying them in. If you're only doing a few trays, no big deal. Carry them in, carry them out. Out in, that's fine. But I have like 40 flats of trays, and I've done that before where I take them to the greenhouse, and then I wasn't able to heat my greenhouse at one point, so I'd have to bring them all back in if it was going to get to be below 40 degrees. So I think tomato plants, they don't love it under 50 degrees, but they're okay. Like I will leave them outside if it's going to be even like 43 degrees.
Oh, me too.
I might cover them with something just to kind of hold the heat in, like a shade cloth, or a piece of plastic. Like I have a bunch of leftover plastic from my greenhouse. But yeah, so usually when the nights are in the upper 40s, that's when I will start taking them outside. And in the daytime, it usually only takes me a few days. You just got to look at your weather.
Yeah.
If it's going to be a real cloudy day, if it's overcast all day long, maybe I'll leave the shade cloth on for only half the day and then take it off. So it's kind of like you got to judge what kind of sunshine they're going to get. So I don't want them to get full on sunshine that first day out, but maybe like an hour.
Right.
Just a little taste of it. Just like me, when I go out first time in the winter, I'm getting burnt like within an hour. That's my plants. So the first day, I really don't want them to get a whole lot of like full sun. So I have shade cloth. And then so I'll do like 1 hour full sun, cover them with one layer of shade cloth. And then this year I actually decided, like after so many, because it was like 50% shade cloth. So I left that on for like 5 hours. And then I just covered them with another piece of 50% shade cloth. So they were just in the dark again. So it was like bringing them back inside in the dark, or it was nighttime for them.
Mm-hmm.
So then the next day, I just make it a little bit longer depending on if it's cloudy or whatever. So the amount of full on sunshine, maybe the next day is 3 hours. Cover them again with shade. So I do shade cloth. So it's kind of like that balancing act. And then, depending on how many overcast hours they got, I think it took me about 3 or 4 days to get them completely. But then you also got to be careful if they're in the trays, because I noticed this too. Like I said, they just kind of went bonkers. Then when I planted them, if your plants have a lot of foliage in the trays, some of that foliage is getting covered by the other foliage.
Mm-hmm.
So there were plants that after I planted them, there was little parts of them that got sunburnt. And I'm like, what in the world? It was because they were guarding each other basically, or protecting each other. So, but they bounce back. Like it's not a big deal.
Even if they get sunburned, they bounce back usually.
Yeah, I mean, I had a whole thing last year. I don't know what I was thinking. I took all of my micros from the greenhouse and put them outside in full sun. Like didn't cover them. I was just like, and came back the next day, and Lordy day, they were almost albino plants.
Yeah.
They were so and basically all I did, I ripped off all the foliage except for like little bits, and then I fish emulsioned the crap out of them. They came back. They came back. Some of them was just a stick, and it started popping new suckers off of the stick. And I was just like, I'm telling you, that fish emulsion, it's pure gold.
I have never in my life heard you talk so much about fish emulsion as I have tonight. I didn't know
I
you
love it. It stinks. It stinks so bad,
Oh, it
but I'm
does.
so used
I'll
to it.
never use it
When I
indoors. Like,
oh, I do.
you use the fish emulsion
Everybody complains in
indoors?
my house. Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'll use
My
the Fox
basement
Farm Grow
smells so good.
Big, which indoors for the indoor stuff. That's like a
I mean,
hydroponic thing, but go ahead.
I was growing Keena and you and me this winter. They had to have the fish emulsion. Yeah, my basement reeked. It was like a pond. Like you'd think you go down there and catch a
Yeah,
fish.
like an aquarium.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
don't
do
have
like
much of a rhyme or reason for my hardening off either. I totally look at the weather. I try to start having them out on overcast days when it's not too sunny yet. That's ideal. I'm like Jen. If the nights are going to be ideally in the 50s, but if they're going to be in the 40s, they're okay. The problem is with my weather bug app that's the app I like. It'll show what the low temperature is, but I'm down in like a valley. So it's usually colder than what it says it's going to be. So I take that into account. But I try on
Mhm,
overcast days. I also have a lot of trays of tomatoes. So taking them in and out isn't ideal. I'll do it for a couple days if I have to, but after that, I don't want to be bringing them in and out unless, there's going to be a frost warning or something like that. I actually bought shade cloth this year to use after seeing one of your videos, and I didn't even end up using it because the weather worked out so where it was getting some sun. I was
mhm,
moving some under like our patio furniture where it was getting some sun, but not complete sun, and just moving things around, and it actually ended up working great. But it totally depends. And I can usually get them hardened off within a week also, but definitely
mhm.
not full sun for longer than I would start with maybe 20 minutes to 30 minutes and then get it out of the full sun for the first couple days because they really are very delicate.
Mhm.
But it
Especially if you're
completely
taking, like,
depends on
small
the year.
starts.
What, Jen?
I said, especially if you're taking, like, real tiny starts out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If they've just are seedlings and have, like, maybe the first or second set of true leaves, those are babies, and you could potentially, like I say they'll bounce back, but when I say they'll bounce back, I'm talking about, it's got a 3 or 4, 5 or 6 sets of, like, leaves, but if you've got tiny little seedlings and you burn the crap out of that, it's probably not gonna recover. So, you gotta take that into consideration too, like, how big are your seedlings that you're hardening
Yeah,
off?
true.
If they're very delicate, very new, then you really, be careful.
Yeah, keep them
But if
inside for a bit.
they're sturdier and have a good root system, you could probably beat them up a little bit more than you would.
Iris says, hubby says, please don't bring that in the garage. Yeah. I like Fox Farm has something called Grow Big. It's got a tomato on the front. I'll use that fertilizer for indoors. But again, this the way Jen feels about fish emulsion is the way I feel about Bigfoot mycorrhizal fungi. I swear by it. Um,
Did I send you the picture of the micro I think I did, the mycorrhizae fungi that I use?
you
Um,
did. Let me find
it's
it.
a little bit I don't wanna say it's cheaper, but it's not as expensive. I guess that's the
It's
same way of saying
cheaper.
as the Bigfoot. And that's what I've been using because I've been using that in every planting hole. So I used it in the soil, like I mixed a bunch of it into the soil when I was up potting. And then I also have been every time I plant anything, I just take a little pinch and I sprinkle it around where I'm doing and just mix it into the planting hole. But I mean, like I said, I
I've
haven't had
used that
any.
brand before. I tried Trifecta. I tried a couple brands
Oh,
before.
you tried Trifecta? That's the one. Is that M.I. Gardner's?
No, he's got a different Trifecta.
Oh, okay,
But
not
there
okay.
is one with mycorrhizal fungi. Oh, look, it says I've
Okay.
purchased this one 2 times. Let me show you guys. But because it's got the biochar and the humic acid and all that other stuff in it, I'm like, oh, this stuff's one stop shopping all in one thing. Because these things can add up. The kelp meal and all that stuff, they can really add up. So I was happy to find everything all in one. And they only had the water soluble for a while, and now they've got the granulated version for the past year or so, which is great. Let me pull this up. Oops, no, not that. All right, here's the one Ben's talking about. Michael Bliss.
Yeah, Myco Bliss. That's
Yeah.
what I've been using. I got a big old bag of that. I've been using it every single time I plant something because I'm thinking it's probably that and my fish emulsion. It's doing me right this year. That and I've also in the planting holes have been putting some of them water retaining crystals. Just
Yeah,
a
tell
little
us
dibble
about
dab,
those.
just a little sprinkle of those. Well, because of the drought last year.
Mhm.
And I learned that it actually not just the water, but it will absorb like the nutrients. Like if you're doing like a fertilizer, it absorbs the fertilizer too, so that it actually doesn't get washed away as quickly. So it'll hold that, and then when it's drier outside, then your plants can kind of pull from those water absorbing crystals.
Cool.
So I'm hitting it at all the angles this year. If we have another drought, I have tried everything except for watering
Except
them
for actually
myself.
watering the plants, 'cause God forbid.
I'm not gonna do that. We went to Ollie's today because Jade's home for the weekend and she wanted to go to Ollie's. So we went there and I saw soaker hosers and I was like looking at them and I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
should I? It seems like a lot of work. Like someday I feel like I should do have some sort of irrigation or something, but I don't know.
Rach
I
says
get by without.
she used Bliss. I had visible mycorrhizal in my bed the next year. It grew in the peat. Yeah, that's what happens. I use it
Yes.
from getting the mushroom compost and all that too. You see mushrooms pop up. It's good stuff. Linda wants to know how much do you put in the hole? I do like a small handful. It depends on the size of the plant, but if planting in the hole, I'll do a small handful and I sprinkle it on the roots. But if it's like if I'm up potting like a micro or something, I just do a little sprinkle and sprinkle it on the roots because this, no matter what brand you use, it is pricey. So a little goes a long way.
Yeah, you don't need a whole lot. Like I had I told you the big bag. You know how much I've planted. I have planted a lot of stuff this year, and I'm still not through the big bag of it. I think it comes in like different sizes. I think I
Mhm.
got, was it the 5 pound bag? Because it
Yeah,
comes
that
in like 2 pounds,
goes up to
5 pounds.
20 pounds.
Yeah. So I got a 5 pound bag and I'm still using it.
Oh,
So
that's good.
yeah, I mean, I
I
just
am
little
not with you,
sprinkle.
but I think I use more than you. I go through it a lot. Um,
Well, mine's very like very much powdered. It is
is it?
like almost like flour. It's like
Oh,
very powdery.
I wonder if it's water soluble.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. So you use it
Yeah,
dry on the roots.
it's water soluble. I mean, it's settled down in there, but you can kind of,
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's in there. Right. There we go. This is my whorehound. Jade came in. It smells like weed. She came into the kitchen. She's like, "Why does it smell like weed in here?" And I'm like, "I think it's my whorehound. I'm trying to propagate it."
What
Okay.
other questions? We only have a couple more minutes, gang. So if you have other questions that we didn't touch on, please.
Oh, I have one here. Can I use 3-year-old unused bale of Pro Mix, all-purpose potty mix, if I add tomato tone, worm casting, mycorrhizae, inoculus? I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Lauren, you just said you used, was it fish emulsion that was like a couple years old?
Yeah.
I had some I found in a tub that I'd put away. And I think it was 2 years old, and I'd mixed it and watered my plants with it. And I've
Yeah.
looked up before fertilizers go bad or,
I have too, especially a couple years ago. I had reused some old fish emulsion. It was a couple years old, and Nicole, if you're still watching, the cross country nursery is the one that told me to use this particular liquid fertilizer. And because I'm like, oh, maybe with fish emulsion it's not okay, but I looked it up and it's totally fine. And the same with potting soil. Generally, I can't think of a potting soil that is not okay using a few years old. You may want to
yeah.
amend it, like you said.
Mm-hmm. Plus,
But it should
like
be
check. I
fine.
mean, I don't know if it's opened or not, but bugs might have gotten in it and laid eggs.
Yeah.
So You might just want to keep an eye on your plants to see like pest issues. Like I know, I like the Pro Mix. I think it's like moisture retention bag, and they sold it at Walmart, and I could not get it this year. Guess
Really?
what? They just put it out, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay,
Oh, wow.
I'm
That's
done.
good.
I'm done starting seeds now. But thank you. But I actually went and stocked up for next year. But I used it in my pots. I did put some more extra plants in pots because I just can't help myself. But I really like that stuff. And I forget where I was going with this. What were we talking about?
Reusing
There's
old
different.
potting soil?
Oh yeah. No, that wasn't
No.
anything. I really don't know, but I was like, what I was going to say. I like the Pro Mix and those, but I was using this other Pro Mix. It wasn't the moisture control. I got that at walmart.com, and it was like twice the amount, but it wasn't as fine. It didn't have as much perlite in it. I could just tell a difference.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
and
right now working on a video comparing potting soils, and I've definitely noticed a difference. I'm using a Pro Mix Organic, Happy Frog, and Ocean Forest, and a lot of things just make sense to me now because people will be like, "Man, you have to water grow bags so much," and I'm like, "I
or
just don't."
fertilize so much. Yeah, like the one I got this year, I
Because Fox
swear I
Farm
had to
Ocean
fertilize.
Forest stays really moist, and I've put
Yeah,
some of my basil cuttings in the Pro Mix, which is very light and fluffy. There's a lot of cocoa coir in it, and man, I'm having to water it constantly. So the soil really does make a difference.
yeah, I like a mixture this year with the Fox Farm, and then the less. I didn't like the Pro Mix that I used this year, but that's what I was going to say. People were having issues with what was it, cutworms?
They were finding
Was it
cutworms, and then there was a
in their?
recall with some herbicide and other Pro Mix too.
I
It's
hadn't
been
heard
a rough
about
year
that.
for them. I know.
Oh, you better not. No,
Um,
no. I don't want to see none of that in my garden.
All right, gang. We have just one more minute. We have to give prizes away. I hope
Linda
that you can
asked.
join us.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Go
okay.
ahead. Oh, hi.
I hope you can watch back
Uh,
the last 90 minutes and get our other troubleshooting things. How do you hang the
Linda
tape?
asked
I
how
just
you
got
want
something.
the tape.
Just tie
I
it.
just tie it on everything, and it'll flap in the breeze.
All right, let's give away. Hopefully, here's your last chance. Put in #tomato, like Francis, and John Kramer is giving away again $25 off at Tomato Eden, one of our favorite vendors. Tatiana Nagel
Yes,
runs
thank you.
it. She's amazing. What's that?
Yeah, she's good stuff. I can't wait to see what she puts up on her website this
I
year. I
know.
must have placed like 5 orders this year. I'm so embarrassed. I shouldn't say that out loud. I
Oh,
did.
I don't think you're alone, my friend. We are, after all, Tomato Lovers Collective and Swab.
And then, like, especially when she puts up a sale, like her good sales that she always puts up. Well, I can't not
I know.
get more.
I know.
Like,
She was so
get
nice to
more.
me. Sophia Sakova had sent me that stuff on her own, but there were still some things on my wish list. I don't know how to get rid of. Can't see Linda's comment to get rid of it.
Let me do it.
All right, thanks.
I'll do it. I'm sorry. I keep forgetting
So
that
then
that's a thing.
Tatiana said, "What else is on my wish list?" And I put on all these Russian things that I knew I couldn't get my hands on, and she sent me so many of them. So I know she'll have those in stock at her shop. She's watching, but thank you, Tatiana. Good things, like I gave you some of them, like Angel Soul, I think was one, and
yes.
yeah, good stuff. So
There's
I know
so many good things in my garden this year. I'm like, oh,
now we need
I can't.
Fiona and Shrek. Dying to get my hands on
Yes.
those.
Oh my
Hopefully
gosh, why
Tatiana's
did you
got
bring
those.
that up? Just, I want those so bad.
I
My
know.
daughter was a huge fan of those movies. Like, I could probably, if you turn the first one on, she was 3 when that one came out, and I could probably just word for word say the whole thing because she would just watch it on a repeat for like a year. Shrek. What do you mean you don't like parfait?
Winner. This is what, Jen? What'd you say?
Nothing. I said,
This
what do
is
you
an
mean
actual.
you don't like a parfait? Everybody like a parfait. The donkey talking about the parfait.
I know, I haven't seen it in a long time.
Oh, see, I'm telling you, every single line. I can tell you. I must have the tomatoes.
Keegan is not the winner. I have to reset it, but I found out before the show that I actually do have control over how long the thing spins, so we don't have to sit here all night. So we've only got this one prize tonight. Thank you, John Kramer, for always being so generous. And
yes, thank you, John.
Our winner
You're
is.
amazing.
Please, you can private message me. If you could private message John Kramer, that would help me out a lot. But if you don't know, John would rather private message or email me. Shurva, congratulations, Shurva. Nice prize for you, my friend.
Yeah.
So make sure you tune in. Mark your calendars for July 11th. Next month, we'll have Ashley from Gardening in Canada. And thank you. We're a bit all over the place tonight, but thank you all for joining in with us. It was a lot of fun, as usual.
Yeah, if you haven't checked out her channel, Gardening in Canada, Ashley, go do it. She's a lot of fun.
She is
You're definitely good. She has so many videos, and there's going to be something on there. So go check her out. You'll probably find some questions that you'd like to ask her. And she seems like I can't wait to talk to her.
You know, do you remember when we found out Craig LaHoulier was going to come on our show for the first time?
Yes, I peed my pants.
I kind of felt the same way about Ashley. Because I had written, I DM'd her on Instagram, and I didn't hear from her for like 3 weeks. And so I just assumed I wouldn't hear from her, but I guess she doesn't check DMs. It would have gone into filtered probably anyway. So I was like, yes, I can't wait to tell Jen, because she's just really cool. And we've never, ever talked about soil health, because I'm not a scientist. You're not a scientist. So this should be fun.
And that's what's fun listening to her. She talks about the science behind stuff.
Right.
Like there's this whole thing about she doesn't plant her tomatoes deep. And I know.
I saw that. And I'm like, don't agree.
But like, you know, like anything, there's pros and cons to everything. We might not agree on everything. Right. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. But it's really interesting to hear the science behind why you do these things.
She does based in science. It's not just her opinion. Really cool. It is based in science.
Yeah, so she does science-based stuff.
I don't agree with everything that Craig LaHoulier talks about either, but we all have different
methods, says tomatoes don't smell. They do. I can smell the difference. I smelled one that smells like a pineapple, and some smell like formaldehyde.
And we start our seeds in a completely different process. I swear by mine, but you know, if you can take one little nugget of information and apply it to your life, that's all that matters. So thank you for joining us, gang. We will see you next month. Make sure you subscribe to Jen's YouTube channel and Instagram, and please do the same with mine. Also, Mr. and Mrs. Tomato Head on Instagram and YouTube.
Like this video.
Like the video, please. And we'll see you next time. Peace and love.
Bye, everyone. Enjoy your day.